Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me just ping the information on our guest today, and we are going to be on and popping. Just let me put her information in. Here she is. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I love your glasses.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I like the color and everything. It's good on you. So you can't see it, but I have on my
Yes.
I
love it.
When I was on your site, I'm like, oh my God, I love these sweatshirts. So I ordered one of these. It came this week. Thank you, Pia, for joining us this afternoon. I know you have another speaking engagement at 1, so I'm going to try to wrap it up like a few minutes before 1 because I don't want you to be late.
Okay, no problem.
So let's get into it. We're talking today about decluttering for self-care. And the reason why I wanted to have this discussion with you, because oftentimes when I'm doing my spiritual readings, it would come up that the person needs to declutter their space, clean up their space. Yeah. Whether it is their home or, oops.
Sorry. I knocked over my tripod.
Okay. I know. I think I may need to get a new one for me too. These things don't last.
That's all right. Just trying to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah. Okay, so you may hear some noise in the background. Someone is trying to finish up their lunch. So forgive us.
No problem.
But
my daughter is here, and I'm sure she will come in a few times while we're on live. So it's all good.
Yeah, right. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Sure is.
Yeah. So, I'm always searching for topics for this Sunday show to help my audience and my clients with certain things that they may struggle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So decluttering for self-care is important because it reminds me of her saying, my grandmother, she would always say, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? But I want to expand that a bit more because it actually helps with your vibrations and lifting your vibrations if your space is, kind of organized in a certain way and have some measure of order.
Yeah.
So let's start off with what is the definition of clutter? Let's start there.
Okay, good. So I'm stealing this definition. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I got this from someone named Barbara Hemphill. And she basically says that clutter is just a bunch of decisions. That's all it is. So those piles around your home, the stuffed closets, the overflowing drawers, everything going on in your mind that's keeping you busy, that's clutter, right? And it's really just decisions that we consistently procrastinate on, or we make those decisions and we do them that are not we make them not in connection with our truth. And so as a result, they end up coming up over and over and over again, right? So that's really what clutter is. Clutter is a bunch of decisions that you haven't made yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
A bunch of decisions you haven't made yet.
That's right. That you're running from, that you're scared of, that you're procrastinating on. That's what clutter is.
So what are some of the key things that that I should look at in my space to say, okay, I have an issue with clutter?
Okay, so there's quite a few, right? First of all, you want to think about, how do you feel when you walk into your home? What does the energy feel like? After you've had a long day, a difficult day, and you come home, do you feel relaxed, right? Or do you walk in and you think, oh man, there's a lot of stuff for me to do in here, right? And understandably, keeping up a home, there are things you have to do. You've got to wash the dishes, there's things that need to be done, clean bathrooms and things like that. But what is the energy like when you walk into your home? Do you feel it drag you down? Do you feel it lift you up? And really, home should be our sanctuary. I mean, there's a home sweet home, right? We've all heard these things, but sometimes when we come home, we don't get those feelings. And why not? What is going on in your home that you're not feeling a lift of energy when you walk home? Second thing I would say is, how long does it take you to find something? Okay? How long does it take you to find something? And be honest. So I'm going to tell you a little story. This is before the pandemic. I had gone to the beach with my neighbor and friend, and she has a key to my apartment. I have a key to her apartment. And so I went to the beach. I went ahead of her, and then I realized I forgot sunscreen or something. So I sent her a text. I'm like, can you pop into my apartment, open the whole closet. There's a bin marked summer, blah, 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 blah. And I just gave her, like, go here, go there, go there, go there, and you'll be able to find the sunscreen. And she texted me back. She's like, man, it was exactly where you told me it was, right? Like, so I can tell somebody else where to find something in my apartment. Can you do the same thing? Right? Because if you can't do that, that means it's going to take you a long time to get it. And you will end up wasting time, buying duplicates, right? So there's a lot of behavior that results a lot of behavior that comes from not tidying your home and not keeping things in order. And then the next thing is, how easily do you make decisions? Okay. So as I said, clutter is really just a pile of decisions. So how easily do you make decisions? And that includes being able to put something away in your home. And also, how easily do you make decisions outside, right, in the rest of your life? Are you often paralyzed by fear? Are you often really concerned about what other people think and trying to please other people? All of that factors into what we keep in our homes. So if you are connected to people pleasing, like I was, I'm a recovered people pleaser, and frankly, I used to be the queen of the tribe. Okay, so if that's you, that means you may have a lot of things in your home because of guilt, right? Maybe things that your mom gave you or that are handed down through your family that you just feel like, oh man, I really should keep this stuff because great grandmama hand crocheted, blah blah blah. But you don't like this thing. You never use it. It's stuff in the back of a drawer. And that guilt and that energy is really vibing throughout your home. So that when you come home, you're wondering, why do I not feel really good in here? It's because you got great grandma stuff stuck in the back of the drawer, and that energy is making its way through your home, right? So that's what I would say. You need to see how you feel when you get home. You also need to figure out how quickly can you find something, and then also consider how quickly can you make decisions. How easily do you make decisions?
Right. One of the things I went about changing in my life is every morning when I get up to make up my bed.
Yes. Yeah.
And as simple as that may seem, it changes the energy of the space, especially when you're coming home from a long day of work.
Right.
I would make sure that, and it's not just like, I just fluff the comforter over it and put pillows. I actually smooth out the comforter, put the decorative pillows back nicely. I actually spend some time clearing the space of the bed and making it tidy. And I find that every time I do, because you have a habit, you just roll out the house, right?
Yeah.
But I found that when I got home when I was working 9 to 5 in Manhattan, of course. Yeah. And I came home, it just felt great. Mm-hmm. Me walking into a space and my bed is made.
Yes. Yes. It's a big deal.
Yeah. So that was something I really had to incorporate into my life.
Absolutely.
Now, some of us have a habit of the open space would be fabulous.
Yes.
But if you pull that closet door,
woo,
you
Simone, listen.
Let me just talk the truth here. Let me put everybody's business out in the street, you know, to Sarah, right? So what is that? I don't even know what that is. But how do we move on from that? Because you come to the space and it's immaculate. When you pull the drawers, the cupboards, the closet, it's like, what the hell happened in here?
Exactly. And then you close it back and you go about your business.
Yeah.
So that's really, I think it's embarrassment. I think it's shame. I think it's not being willing to face yourself, right? You know, I'm a KonMari consultant in training, so I have been trained in Marie Kondo's method. And she says that tidying really is an act of confronting yourself, right? So if clutter's decisions, and these are a bunch of decisions you have not yet made, and you're going through each item and you're saying, does this spark joy? You know, and all these emotions come up. The guilt from mom giving you something that you just kind of have around, the fear of not wanting to let things go, all those things come up. And you confront yourself, you face yourself, and you face those decisions. So the reason why your closet door is stuffed, the doors are closed, your drawers are full to capacity, and you're pushing it away is because you are not ready to face yourself. So as I often tell people, this process is emotional. It is emotional. So it is not just physical. It is not just about taking the things out. Oh, do I want to keep this or not? And then putting it back. There is that physical part too. But more of it is really emotional. So a lot of what I do with my clients is, yes, I guide them as to, you know, what pretty products they should use to put something away. You know, I give them advice as to how to organize their things. Maybe you want to do Roy G. Biv. Maybe you want to do whatever. I do that. But a lot of the work that I do is handling those emotions and teaching people how to make better choices and how to comfortably let go of things that no longer serve them. You know, so it's an incredible process because it does cause you to really look at yourself and see where you are, see how you got there, and be accountable for your own choices. And I think as human beings, certainly I could, speaking from my own self, like I ran from fear, I ran from choices, I ran from accountability for a really long time. And I think, you know, I'm a parent, and my parents did the best they could with, you know, raising me in a way to protect me. That's kind of what a lot of parents do. You don't want your kids to go through pain and feel a lot of discomfort. And so you do your best to guide them, but you're guiding them in a way that's not allowing them to really face those difficult decisions really easily. And so I had a lot of trouble working through when things that I wanted didn't match what society was pushing for me, what my parents wanted for me, right? And I just would avoid them and push them away and like, oh, that's uncomfortable. No, thanks, right? I'm not trying to do that. And so this process really says, okay, I see you. And also, what are you going to do with that thing that's stuck in the back of the drawer? Okay. Yes, your mama gave it to you. Yes, you may have issues with your mama. Okay. Are you holding on to this because you feel like you're honoring her? But then I'm going to say, are you really honoring her if it's stuffed in the back of a drawer? Right? Is that really being kind to, right? So as we go through, it's not only about the stuff. And frankly, sometimes I say it's not really about the stuff. It's more about your relationship to your external, right? Which can be things, people, whatever. It's all kinds of stuff. So it's amazing. And then at the end of this, after all this stuff, after all this like life coaching, you also get a tidy home. And you get a mindset shift and habit changes. Like I teach you what I know, right? So what the work that I do is called tidying lessons. That's what Marie Kondo taught us to do, is to give lessons in tidying so that at the end of it, you know what I know. And you can do this on your own. You know, I'm not the kind of organizer who's going to come and you're like, all right, I'm off to the store. And then I'm in your house doing all the work. Like that's not, I need to leave you with something, right? And it's not just going to be a tidy home. It's going to be how to make better choices, you know, having a home for everything, knowing where to store things, being more intentional about your life, about the things you bring in, setting boundaries, like all of that, so that you can do this on your own and maintain it on your own. So, you know, as I always like to say, we can hang out again, maybe have a drink or something, but I'm not coming to your house to tidy anymore. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. At what point would it get to they're having to, okay, they've gone through the process with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've gone into some difficulty again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe they will come back to you again and they have another session,
Okay.
right?
Yep. Yep.
At what point can you say, or they say, you know what, I can't do this for whatever reason?
Mm-hmm.
And the discussion then comes to hiring help, because that has been one of the things too in some of the sessions that I've had.
Yeah.
Where the person, the spirit shows me the actual space.
Yes.
And they're like, so I'm like, I'm in your home and it's a bit untidy. They're like, oh my gosh, Simone. So I'm able to describe what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, we go through this for weeks and weeks. And then they're like, Simone, okay, I can't keep up with this. I'm just going to hire help.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you manage that then with a client if that comes up?
So if someone reaches out to me and says, okay, Simone told me she could see the clutter, right? Like, I really need your help. Okay, so here's my process. And it really does, I mean, I've added some things to KonMari to sort of make my process more sweet digs, So I'll incorporate how the KonMari method works through my process. So it's really 5 phases. And, while I love tidying and I love putting things in their place and figuring out the homes, like most people are like, this is terrible. Okay, I do not want to spend my time doing this. So I do my best to make the process fun and joyous. And if you can't tell already, I have sort of like a big, colorful personality. And so I try to make it as fun and exciting as possible. So that includes, I do like a tidying playlist for all my clients. I ask them what kind of music they like, what artists they like. And so I put a playlist together for them. If I wasn't a KonMari consultant in training, I would be a DJ probably. I may not be the greatest DJ, frankly. I don't know if I can make a full living at it, but I can make a pretty good playlist. It's just, it's the mixes. The mixes are a little bit hard, but anyway. And then, jokes and stories. I got them all, right? And really bring fun energy to this, right? So that's sort of the sweet digs. I turn tidying into fun self-care. That's like my tagline. So there's really 5 phases to my process. The first one is explore, where you set up a 30-minute call with me and we just chat and get to know each other. And you decide, you know what, I like Pia, or, she's a bit much. No, right? So we have that conversation. And then I see if I connect with you too, right? Because while I'm in your home, and, we're going to be spending a lot of time together. Okay. My sessions are 3 hours virtual, 4 hours in person, each one of them. Okay. So we got to like each other a little bit, So the explore part is really about that, about figuring out, do we connect? And then I talk to you about pricing and all that stuff, right? So that's explore. And then you also fill out a questionnaire for me that gets a little bit deeper, that talks about your relationship to clutter. What do you know about Marie Kondo and her process, right? I find out about what streaming service you use, what artists you like. So all those questions happen in the questionnaire. So that's explore. Second step is understand. No, I'm sorry. First one is understand. Second is explore. So in explore, I basically come to your house. I do something called the in-home insight, where I come to your house and I do a walkthrough with you for 2 hours. So the walkthrough is 2 hours, and then the other half is a vision setting session. And this is part of KonMari, where we sit down and we talk about, what do you want your home to look like after you're done tidying? And what do you want to do with your life after you're done tidying? Because some people are so stuck with the clutter, right, that they can't see. Yes. They don't know. What after tidying, then what? So what are your dreams? What is your vision for your life? What are your goals, right? So if you tell me, I really would love to be able to buy a Peloton and set it up in my living room. And I'm like, your living room is full. Like, there ain't no room for no Peloton in here, right? But if I know that that's part of your vision and I know that's what you want to do, I can guide you to that, right? So I can also remind you of it when we're in the middle of tidying things in your living room and you're like, oh, I can't, I'm tired. Like, remember that Peloton? Remember you said you want to put a Peloton here and you're going to be riding and hanging out with your friends, right? So that's part of the vision too. It's getting you to dream and imagine like we used to do when we were kids. And then also letting me understand what it is that you want from this so that I can guide you toward that. And then I also have you do a Pinterest board because, where would we be without Pinterest in our visuals, And then also something called Love It or Loathe It. So as you go through your home, and I'm sure this happens to you too, Simone, like you go through and you're like, oh, this is so annoying. I can't stand that this thing is here. I can't stand that I have to reach here to get this thing, right? So I have my clients, as they're walking through, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but as they're walking through, what are those things that drive you crazy? And what are the things that you absolutely love? So that I know when we're done, I got to make sure I'm keeping the love things, right? And I'm getting rid of those loathe things, you know? And so I have them do that too. And in the middle of that, I'm creating a vision document. So after we have that vision conversation, I'm not doing a vision board. You're doing that in Pinterest, but I'm basically writing out what you told me. So you've told me about yourself, your core values, you know, what your dream space would look like, what you want to do. And I'm putting all of that into a document for you. So that's understand and explore. And then the next step is prepare. So then I send you a document that basically explains to you what you need to do to get ready for our tidying session. Make sure you got your garbage bags, your boxes, make sure you get a good night's sleep before our session, like those kinds of things. And I'm putting together your playlist. Okay, so I'm on Spotify or Apple Music and I'm getting my little DJ business on, right? I'm doing that. I actually had a client the other day, and you know, I'm into a lot of music, but I'm not super into country. And I had a client that was into country. So I was like, all right, this is gonna be interesting for me. So I'm doing this stuff and I'm like, well, this is interesting. So at our first session, I was like, I didn't realize how many country songs are all about beer, right? And I was like everyone, they're like, and I had a beer. I was like, that's interesting.
It's about beer and heartbreak.
Beer and heartbreak.
Beer and heartbreak. I know you have some Barbados connections, so you know country music is huge on the island.
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
Yeah. And that whole ballroom dancing thing, I don't know. Anyhow, continue. That's just another topic.
Yes,
to this
exactly.
day, I do not understand this thing with Barbados and the country music.
I know. I don't know where that comes from or how, but it's absolutely so true. Okay, yeah. So I'm in prepare, right? So I'm making your playlist, and then also during that walkthrough, I took pictures, right? If we're doing in person, I took pictures. If we're on virtual, you took your own pictures. And then I have a Google photo, I set up a Google photo album, and you add the pictures or I had the pictures. So we got your before and afters in one place that you can access them. So that's understand, explore, prepare. And then the next step is when we do the joy checking. So that's choosing joy. So that's when I'm in your home, or I'm on Zoom with you, and we're going through your stuff. And we do it in a certain order. And we do it by category and not by location. Okay? And we also don't go through and figure out what you want to get rid of, but we go through and figure out what you want to keep. So these are like the three biggest parts of KonMari. So I'll explain that to you. So the reason why we go through category and not location is because a lot of people store the same thing in different places, right? So, right? Think about that. Yeah. So so say for example, your clothing. So say, you know, you're in New York City like I am, okay, and you're in a small space and you don't have enough space in your bedroom for all of your clothing. So you may have a little bit of it in your kids' room, you may have a little bit of it in your hall closet, you may have a little bit of it with your coats. And so if we don't pull it all out at once and you see what you have, first of all, you have no idea what you have, but then also you are not really able to make a fulsome decision. So you can't say, you know what, I really do want to have 3 pair of black pants because there's another 6 or 7 in a different room and you had no idea, right? So it allows you to really see what you have and make a fulsome decision. And also we do it in the order of, I'll tell you what the order is: clothing, books, paper, a category called kimono, which is Japanese for miscellaneous, and then sentimental items. And we can arrange kimono by, basically we arrange this is all arranged in a way so that we end with what's closest to your heart and what we believe would be the most difficult. So you can imagine if I came to your house for the first tidying lesson, and the first thing is we pulled out pictures of your relatives that have passed on, and I'm having you go through and make decisions, you would stop immediately, like, I can't do this. This is too much. And so we do that at the end so that you kind of build up your joy checking muscles, as we call it. And then the other thing is we decide what you want to keep instead of what you want to give away. So what sparks joy? You may have heard of this from Marie. It's kind of all over the place. So we help you decide what sparks joy, and then you're supposed to let go of the rest with gratitude. So spark joy really is, it's a way higher standard than people think it is. And it's really a way to figure out what connects with your intuition, what thrills you, what makes Simone happy, and not what makes Simone's mama happy, cousin, everybody else, right? It's not about being trendy. It's about connecting with your heart and holding on to those things that really connect with who you are, your core values, how you want to show up. And the encouragement is to let go of everything that doesn't meet that criteria, right? In a beautiful way, though, to thank it for whatever purpose it served in your life, and then to let go with gratitude. So all my clients say thank you before we move that thing to the donate bin or the consignment bin. Because for whatever reason this thing was in your life, whether if you're using it now, then you can thank it for how it has served you. If you haven't used it, then you can thank it for teaching you what you no longer need. And you can send it off to someone else, and maybe it'll spark joy for them, right? And then the last part is love. And in love is when we talk about storage, buying, organizing products, where things should live. And by the way, as you're going through enjoy checking, I'm figuring out what your style is. So if you tell me, I really love sequins, I love black shiny leggings or whatever it is, I'm writing all this down. So as we're doing this, I'm creating, or you're creating, actually, I'm just writing it down, a style for yourself and how you want to show up, so that as you're telling me, I really love long flowy dresses. If we get to a dress that isn't so long and isn't so flowy, I'm going to say, hey, what about that, right? And so I'm going to be asking you those questions that you are afraid to ask yourself, or you don't even realize about yourself, because I'm actively listening and paying close attention to everything you say, your energy, the words coming out of your mouth, right? All of it, so that I can help you to see yourself essentially in a way you haven't seen yourself before.
Okay, so one of these I've heard about this method of putting something close to your chest and then asking if I want it or not.
Yeah.
But I found out about that when this girl was trying to decide if she was going to stay with the guy or not.
Oh.
She said, Simone, what I did is just write his name on a piece of paper and I put it to my chest. Is he good for me or isn't he good for me? I cannot remember, though, what she said when you put it to your chest, and if it moves away from your chest or something like that, it doesn't, he's no good. So is there methods similar to that because I've seen that somewhere before in terms of what you're going to keep and give away, of putting this thing to your chest and just asking, is this something that I want for me or not?
Yes. That's really what it is. It's really a way to get you out of your head and to connect with your body and connect with your heart. And as a matter of fact, with Kamari, you have to hold every item in your hand, right? So it's not just putting a few things on the bed, right, and then standing back and pointing. You have to hold it in your hand and really feel the energy of the thing, because everything has energy, right? Yes. And so and I think there's a level at which we connect that, I'm not really sure why we think that unless we can, like, seeing is believing. I'm not sure that's true. In fact, I know that's not true. I think there's a level of connection that we have that we can't necessarily detect with our five senses, So it's really about holding it in your hand and seeing how it makes you feel and how it connects with you before you get in your head and you're like, now how much did I spend on this? And did I get this on sale? And who gave this to me? That doesn't matter. How does it make you feel? Do you feel fantastic? Does it thrill you? Right? What is that? And once you find what that is, like, that's what sparks joy for you.
Right. And this is bringing me back to an incident that, I have to own up, that was not a good thing that I did. A friend of mine, she had all these fantastic drawings of her daughter when she was a toddler. And she threw them out, right? And she posted on Facebook how she threw out all these drawings. She's like, I'm like, how could, and so I start panicking. I'm like, how could you, and I'm doing this and I'm not a mother. So I don't understand, like, a bunch of papers, like, all over the place. There's no more room. She's like, Simone, just get over it. Because she's like matter of fact like that. Yeah. And she's like, I have to throw that stuff out. Like, how many of these drawings and paintings am I going to give this kid? Right? And so and now sitting down here, and that conversation happened so many years ago. But now sitting down here, I'm thinking that I was kind of, you know, guilt tripping her or something into keeping stuff that was not serving her anymore and was causing her discomfort.
Simone.
So I say that to say we have to be mindful of these friends who come in and trying to guilt trip you into certain behavior you're trying to change.
Exactly. Simone. Well, let this conversation
yeah, no.
encourage you to not do that.
I speak my truth, eh?
No, that's
so
good.
someone
that's
here is saying
it's good that you're realizing that and bringing that up now and seeing, you know, how that added pressure wasn't helpful for her to make a decision. That's good. That's good.
But she's a strong-willed person, so Simone couldn't say anything. Shit was going in the garbage. So
and the thing is, and she probably had a little West Indian background because listen, my West Indian background, strong-willed, runs through my veins.
She's from Barbados. She's like, I don't give a shit. And it was not just me. Other people was like, oh, but all these other people that were saying, oh my God, they had no kids.
Oh,
that's the thing. They had no children. All the mothers was like, y'all just full of shit. Just leave it alone.
I love it.
But we have here Miss Monica Faye. She says, I'm in my declutter room and cheating on everyone in there because I'm also watching your live.
Listen, so my friend Monica is running a room on Clubhouse right now that she's been doing every week for like 13 weeks on decluttering. And she's amazing. She's like my homie. And now I guess she's multitasking. She's like in her room, leading her room. And she's also watching me live.
In her room. Oh, she's in Clubhouse.
She's on Clubhouse right now.
Listen, that is the new addiction. Huh? We're not going to, because we're on IG and enough respect. And no, don't cut me off.
That's right.
But Clubhouse is the new addiction.
I know. I know.
Is it working for you? Because it's working for me. It's working for me.
It's fun.
It's working for me. Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's allowing me to give organizing tips and all that, but it's also allowing me to connect with people who are just interested in what I'm interested in, you know? So I'm in like music rooms, and I'm in rooms about human behavior and personal growth, and I'm in rooms about decluttering where I'm surprisingly enough not speaking, which is like one of my favorite things to do. But it is just so, it's fun. It's just fun. Yeah. It's just another way to connect. And honestly, you know, I feel like we needed it right now. You know, we really did. We needed it right now. So it's good. I like it a lot. I actually have a room with Monica tomorrow. No, is today Sunday? Yes. Tomorrow and Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a couple rooms.
Tomorrow or Tuesday?
Tomorrow
or Tuesday?
Tomorrow and Tuesday, both.
Oh, both days. Okay, great. What time?
At 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, great. So I'll mention that again before we close out. Okay. And to our audience, I am Simone from Readings by Simone, and I'm interviewing Pia Thompson. Such a Bajan name.
It sure is, isn't it?
On her page is Street Digs. We're talking about decluttering for self-care. You've mentioned Kamari several times.
Yeah.
Why did you and I've listened, her show is also addictive. I sat down one day in a comfy chair and just watched episode after episode after episode. And for me, it wasn't even to be in someone's space and see what was going on with them. But when folks tell their story as to how they got to that place, I was more, in tune to the actual story than even paying attention to what was the issues in the home.
Yeah.
Because they said, well, this happened in our life, or this person died, or I lost a baby, and just stuff happened.
That's right.
Why did you decide to attach the KonMari method to your brand? Okay,
so that's a little bit of a story. So I am actually a lawyer. Well, you know, and I love a story. So here we go. So I'm actually a lawyer. I don't practice anymore. I do this full time now. And I went into law for all the wrong reasons. I went in because I didn't really know myself. I never really connected with myself until I got older. And so I went in because I wanted to make a lot of money, because I would impress other people. Remember I said I was like queen of people pleasing? I was not kidding. I decided a whole career off of people pleasing. And I went in because I just was chasing this whole idea of success. You know, what does success mean? It means like you have a good job with, you know, with that you make a lot of money at. Maybe you get to like, you know, a high level at your company. You get married, you have a big house, you have kids, in the, you know, in the suburbs, all this stuff, right? Like that was I was just following sort of what was being pushed at me from society and also from my West Indian immigrant parents, right? Who came here so that I would go to college and be successful. They didn't come all the way here for me to act a fool, right? They came here for me to do these kinds of things. And so that's what I did. And the whole time I just was not connecting with myself. I didn't even understand. I didn't even know myself. I thought that this made sense. That if I followed this path, that I would be happy, that being successful, as someone else defined it, would make me happy. And it didn't. So I married the wrong person. I was in the wrong career for, okay, right? And as I'm sure other people have, I was in the wrong career for a long, long time. And I was consistently reminded that this was not for me. The marriage wasn't for me. The career wasn't for me. But I just kept pushing those feelings of discomfort away because I was never really taught how to face discomfort and deal with it, and never really taught that the things that come easy to me can be worth pursuing. I always thought success had to be really, really hard. You know, law school was hard. You know, working at a law firm was hard. Being a lawyer was hard. And I always thought, you know, success, you have to work really hard and fight for it. And, you know, the fact that I was naturally organized was like, and so what? It doesn't matter. Like, you're not supposed to have a career in that. That's craziness. So after a while, I guess it was my journey, because I know some people go through this and it's not their journey. But after a while, you know, I got divorced, and my dad passed away. And this all happened I didn't get divorced and he passed away in the same year, but actually I found out my husband was cheating on me, and he passed away in the same year. So we separated. And then like 3 weeks later, anyway, it was a mess. Okay. And so that set me off on a whole journey. And I have to say, I didn't leave my career right away. It took years. It took going out on dates with dudes that were quite a bit like my ex-husband. And I was like, what am I doing? And then I had to start to see, oh, wait a second. It was my decision-making that got me here. Like, I can't continue to blame him for everything. I said yes when he asked me to marry him. I said I do. I stayed, right? And so I kept attracting people that were like him, right? And that would make me walk on eggshells and feel unsure of myself. And then I was like, oh, damn it. What? So things just started happening. I started attracting people in my life who would ask me those questions that I was afraid to ask myself, which is the same thing I do for my clients now, as I told you, right? I started attracting people who would ask me those questions. I started reading all kinds of books about personal growth. I started exploring happiness. I was like, why am I not happy? I have a beautiful little girl that I love. I'm out of this marriage that isn't wonderful. I'm still making all the money. Why am I not happy? I feel like I should be. You know, when I had the 5-bedroom house, I wasn't happy then either. Why am I not happy? So once I started exploring, going down that road, it became abundantly clear that I was basically living someone else's life, not a life connected with what mattered to me. That while money is necessary, as we all know, it's a sort of necessary evil we have to deal with, but money's not that important to me. What's important to me is teaching other people to not settle, right? Right? That's what's really important to me. Teaching other people to not settle, teaching other people that they are worthy, loving myself and going after my dreams and feeling comfortable with that, not people pleasing, like all of those things. And so all of that I learned and taught myself, I teach to my clients now. So what got me to KonMari is that I actually got laid off from my job. And I knew I was going to get laid off because about 40% of the work that I was doing, we didn't have to do anymore due to some deregulation. So I knew that the layoff was coming. But even before that, I had decided, I was like, I'm done. I got to leave the law. Like, I cannot continue to sell my soul, frankly, every day. I never felt like I fit in. Like, I can't. And I'm sure there's some of you listening right now that probably feel the same way. That you go to work and you do not feel like you fit in. And it wasn't just because I'm a Black woman, because we still don't fit in corporate America either. but it was because it wasn't for me. It was not for me. And I kept being reminded over and over and over again. So I decided I wanted to leave, and then boop, I got laid off. And then it was like, okay, Pia, now what? What you gonna do now? Okay, like, you've been a lawyer, right? You've been a lawyer for a long time. You've been like, what are you gonna do now? So all this personal growth was really about learning to love myself, but I hadn't sat and thought, well, what do I want to do with a career? Like, now what? So I finally, after X number of years, decided to start listening to my intuition. And why? My intuition was like, every time I would sit down, Simone, and think to myself, okay, what do I want to do? What am I interested in? What do I love? What do I love? My intuition was like, we're not ready for that yet. I was like, what? Now, I had a severance, right? Because I got laid off, and I had been working there for 5 years. So I had a severance for months. So I was like, okay, we can wait a little bit, you know? And I'm a lawyer, right? It's not like I don't have any money. Like, I have a lot of money in the bank, so I'm okay for a little while. But my intuition was like, no, just wait, just wait. This happened for a year and a half. Okay, yes. My mother was like, what are you doing? Okay, are you crazy? What do you mean? But I'm like, yeah, my intuition is like, just wait. And admittedly, there were a few days, and it wasn't long. It wasn't, I'm telling you, when you're ready, you are ready. That ready, call, yeah. When that call comes, you just know you cannot go another way, right? Jen Zone's got it. Got to answer the call. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So I was in that space, but the call was like, it was like the phone was ringing, and when I picked up, there was nobody at the other end, because it wasn't like, oh, go do this, right? I was kind of just waiting. So that freaked my mother out. It didn't freak me out, though. I was very comfortable with it. But there were a couple of days, like literally a few days, where I was like, you know what? I should probably go get a legal job. So I applied for a job. It went well. The interviews went well. They really liked me. I probably went back like 3-4 times. They took me to lunch. I met the CEO, all this stuff. And I never heard from them again. Not one word.
At least you get the call. I don't get no calls no more. I don't even get to the interview stage. They don't even send the, oh, we reviewed your resume and we realized you're not, you don't fit in. So you got pretty far.
Yeah, I did. But then they never gave me an offer, and they never told me that I was rejected. Not a word. And as I look back on that now, I think, you know what? I know why that is, because I can always go practice law. It's always there in my back pocket, or right now, way in the back of the closet. Okay, way, right? But that's not what I want to do. So I have to make the decision on my own to say no and go forth and do what I really feel called to do. So here's what happened. Somebody suggested Marie Kondo's book to me, but I love books. So I put it on the shelf, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it someday. And then I watched the show, and I binge watched the show. And I was like, and I'm telling you, and I swear to you, it had to be like the first 10 minutes of the first episode. And I was like, that's what I want to do for a living. Boom. Yes. Just like that. Yes. Alignment immediately. Yes. And I think at that time, she might've been on the floor, like greeting somebody's home. I don't know what she was doing, but I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. Because it was the perfect mix of organization, which I really loved. And frankly, I had looked into during that year and a half, but I was like, it doesn't feel like enough, right? There's something missing. But she's got this piece about personal growth and finding yourself and self-love and learning to make better, like all this stuff. And I was like, that's it. It's the perfect combination of what I want to do. And so I told all my friends that day, I was like, this is what I want to do. And then they were all like, oh, that's perfect for you. That's exactly what you should. I was like, are you kidding me? All this time, y'all could have told me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But yeah, that was it. Sweet Diggs was born that day. Wow. Mm-hmm.
And there's no turning back.
Nope. And my mom, I think it took her a really long time to get comfortable with it. But the other day I was on NPR. I was on the radio. And
oh, nice.
Yeah. And so she's read like a couple of articles and stuff I've been in. And she listened. And, I talked to her, but I think she's kind of just like, yeah, whatever, this is what you want to do. Okay, fine. I had to convince her, right? Like to get comfortable, but she listened to it. And my mom is not really the kind of person that's like super congratulatory and very like, I'm very, she's not, she's mostly critical and judgy. Right. So she listened to me, give my little thing, talk to people, and she was like, you know what? You were wonderful.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
yes. Yeah.
Nice. You know, I have
That
not
was a
had
big
that
deal.
conversation with my mother as yet about what I'm doing.
No, really? Ooh. It's a
I
big deal.
haven't. Um, it's a huge deal. Part of it is because I think it should be face to face.
Okay.
She's in Barbados, so I don't think it would fare well to tell her, "Oh, I do spiritual readings," and that's fun. I think it would serve me better. Well, she knows that I'm working with something, but she doesn't know that this is what I am actually doing.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, and I don't know if someone has whispered it to her as yet, because if you're kind of familiar with the culture, you know
Yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
But
course.
if not one day, she would have come to me with it. But we haven't had that conversation as yet.
Gotcha.
And for me, it is just that I think I need to face her, for it to be one-on-one instead of on the phone.
Yeah.
But what moved me about your story and what I was hearing is that you are this process that you went through and the shift that happened in your life and the way you managed it, it was good for your daughter to see that and to know that story. Because she's now leaps and bounds and said, well, I remember if something is going on with her, I remember when mommy was going through this.
Yeah.
And this is what she did, or this is how she handled it.
Yeah.
This is how it came about. And I always tell folks, you know, you're not living your life for your children, but you had these children and you are their first example. So it's not a matter of whether you fail or you win, but it's just how you manage all situations.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name Sweet Digs?
So, yeah, that took a while, frankly.
Really?
Yeah, it did. I kind of struggled with that. And at first, the first name I had was Overjoyed and Organized. And I was like, that's a tongue twister. Let me not go with that one. But Sweet Digs came from, like, I really like the 70s. Well, I don't know what it is. I like old school music. I like disco. I like afros. I like Soul Train. Like, I just love that whole era, you know? And I love the colorful vibe of it. I love I don't give a damn about it too. There's a lot of, of not taking any shit attitude from the 70s. So I just love it. And there was a phrase that people used to do, like, my digs are sweet, right? Like, sweet digs, you know? And that's where it came from. It just came from that. Like, just my love of the 70s and what that means. And so, you know, you'll see, like, my brand is a bunch of bright colors. And joy, sort of letting loose and chilling out, you know. So it's like, that's really where it came from. Sweet
and
digs.
your whole brand rings through with your personality, because to me, like, maybe I should go on Sweet Digs website if I'm having a bad day, because the color
right.
and your pictures, everything just speaks to joy, and it doesn't feel or look forced.
Yep.
So I completely enjoy your brand. I've been on the site a few times trying to decide actually which color sweatshirt I was going to put on. What do you hope for Sweet Digs to do next? What is your next, if you're open to sharing that, what is your next big project, or is that a secret? Am I going too far?
So my biggest project that I'm working on, well, I got two, and they're probably a secret right now.
That's okay.
But I have dreams. Ooh, I have big dreams. So, so I'm working on an online course right now, which is not super big project, but that's something that I want to do. Like an online group experience that I want to give people. But like, I would love to like be on TV. I've been saying that and feeling that for a little while now. I would love to be on TV. I think that would be so fun. And like, at first I was like, oh, I want to do a podcast. But I'm like, I don't think I want to do, like, I'm not doing no podcast.
We need to see you.
What I want
We
to do
need
on
to see
TV, I
you.
don't, huh? What'd you say?
We need to see you.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I
Yes.
feel like I
So
need
the
to be
podcast
seen.
in it, we need to see, and that exuberance and the light and the joy and
Yeah,
all this bubbly energy you have, we need to see that to get to where we need to get to with decluttering.
yeah. And
So
you
yeah,
know what?
it's not the podcast.
And I'll be honest with you, I feel like more Black joy needs to be shown. Black joy needs to be
Yeah.
all over television. We are not just protests about racism, or we're not just the sad news stories, right? We are also Black joy. And one of the things, I mean, I have so many ideas. How much time do we have? So one of the things I really want to
so right
do,
now we're at, hold on,
12:49,
I think we're at 10, 12:50. So we
okay.
got some time. Go ahead.
So another thing that I want to do is I really want to be able to provide the work that I do to Black women for free, right? And so right now, you know, I'm not in a position to do that with any regularity, right? But I love the idea of giving Black women joy at home. Like that is it, you know? And so I would love to do that. And what that looks like, I ain't got no idea. I just have the idea right here. And I haven't really thought it through too much, but maybe it looks like a sponsorship. Maybe, you know, I don't know, in an application. I don't know what it looks like, but that's what I want to be able to do. Because I just feel like we are so squeezed, you know, in so many ways. Sometimes even by our men, frankly.
Yeah.
You know, we are so squeezed, and I just feel like if I can do that, if I can have someone, if I can give someone joy in their home, not just through tidying, but through the power of not settling, making good choices. Like I have so many passions, like, you know, having been in a crappy marriage and in not so amazing relationships with men, you know, if I could honestly save women, and not just Black women, but maybe primarily Black women, from relationships not where the other person is toxic and clearly toxic, right? Because I don't think I'm qualified for that. You know, I'm not a therapist, you know, I'm not, you know, and I was in an abusive relationship, but I don't think I'm qualified for that. But just from settling, right?
Yeah.
Just from loving ourselves enough to choose somebody that bigs us up and makes us feel good about ourselves and doesn't compete with us. And, you know, I think like we often settle in a way that really is a self-betrayal. And I would love to like rescue every woman from that, you know? Yeah. And, you know, when I'm not tidying homes in my free time, right? I could do that.
Yeah. I think tidying the home and decluttering is the start.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the start, you know, and if they have to go to therapy or if they have to do other things, it's all in alignment to you, you know, having spiritual and wellness as balanced as it can be.
Right.
So it all must marry together for you to get to the space where you are comfortable with who you are.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, and where you want to be. Because something as simple as tidying up your room, it energizes you to do the next thing.
That's right. That's right.
Which may be, you know what, maybe I can sit down now and start looking for a new job. You will be surprised how when you shift energy in one area, it has a ripple effect. And this is the discussion that I have with my clients in a reading, because some people think, sometimes I ask, where you come for a reading? Yeah. Because some people would expect I just sit down and, you know, tell them about their past lives and like, oh yeah, yesterday you wore like a pink pajama top, didn't you? That's not what it is. You'll be surprised. It is about seeing where you are and the improvements that you want to make. And again, like coming to Sweet Digs, having a conversation with Pia is the beginning of that journey for you. Come on.
Yes. Exactly.
And that's why when I found, oh, well, you know, someone told me about your services.
Yeah. I know who.
I says, okay. Yeah. And I says, I don't want to say, because, you know, I don't like to everybody know what who come to me for these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And so I says, okay, I'll take a look. So then she said, okay, she has some Beijing rooms. I says, okay, we're moving forward with this. And then I went on your site and your page, I'm like, this energy has to greet me on a Sunday afternoon.
That's right. It's like
And
church in here.
your work is amazing. And I hope that this platform and all the other platforms that you're on, this mission of helping Black women, you know, declutter for self-care, you get the support, the financial support, the spiritual support that is needed for that to happen. And in any way that I can assist with that, you know, just let me know. I'm already thinking in my head something I have to send to you.
Okay.
So if you're not aware of it yet, what brings you joy?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, there's so many things, but I never give like a one answer. Like my answers are never just, oh, this. It's always like a complication and a thing and a list. Okay, so waking up and feeling free, right? I used to feel so trapped in my life, and like I didn't have many options, you know? And I feel free now. I can I decide, like, I don't take clients before 10 o'clock in the morning. Because, you know, I don't like setting an alarm clock. I don't want to, like, and so a client the other day asked me if I could come to her house for this walkthrough at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I said, listen, yes, I will do that for you because I know this works in your schedule. But I'm telling you right now, I may be late. Okay. And I was like 10 minutes late. I was honest. I was like, I know myself so well now, right? Like I know what I can do, what I can't. And I know what I value, and I live my life that way. So what brings me joy is that I get to design, and we all do, by the way, all of us get to design our lives the way we want. We may think we're trapped, but we really aren't. You know, I used to feel that way, and I really wasn't. It was just real. I had to make difficult decisions. It wasn't easy to make some of the choices that I made. But there's always a choice. So that's one. Second, maybe these aren't in order, but my kid, my daughter, seeing her happy. Anytime that we're playing together, laughing together, hanging out together is fun. So this morning, so she didn't want to do her homework. Let me talk lower because she's out in the living room. So she didn't want to do her homework, right? Yesterday. So she did like a little bit of it. And so I said, okay. And she was supposed to do half yesterday and then half today. So I said, okay, when you get up today, do your homework straight away. I don't want to do my homework. She got up this morning. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So she pushed through and she did it, right? All her spelling and everything. And I said, okay, let's have a dance party now. Pick out your favorite song. And her songs aren't my songs, okay? Because she's listened to all this like kids boppy stuff. Put on your song and then let's just dance. And so we did. It was fun. I did all these silly dances and I made up funny words to the songs. We did all these. So we just had a good time celebrating the fact that she did it. And then she did it and it only took her like 45 minutes. I was like, you see that? You know, you procrastinate and then boom, you get it done. And now you have the whole rest of the day to yourself. So we celebrated that she finished it. We celebrated that she has the whole rest of the day. So just everything. And watching her grow into the person she is. It's like, because as a parent, you say all these things and you feel like they're not listening, right? Like they're never listening. But they are. And she comes back with things and I'm like, what? Yes. So remember the girl who put Gorilla Glue in her hair?
Yes.
Okay. So I told her about that. I was like, oh my gosh, now you got to see this girl. She put Gorilla Glue in her hair. How's she going to get it out? Whatever. Oh my gosh. And her hair, is she going to have hair left? You know, she said, she was like, well, mommy, if she loses all her hair, it's just hair. It doesn't matter. She's still the same person.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I was like, did
she's getting that seeing you. Exactly what I said before. She's understanding at an early age what is important and what isn't.
Right.
And she's learning from you. She's getting that energy of, okay, well, no, then what is about. But not only is she getting from her, I find this generation just like kind of easy with stuff now. You know, I find they don't like I'm older. So we kind of put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
Yes, yes.
And living other people's expectations.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know she's gonna be all right.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, oh no. But you know, sometimes some of the things they do, I'm like, I don't know about this. But then she comes out with that, I'm like, you good. You good. Because she getting the lessons at 10 that it took me years to figure out.
Years.
Yeah.
Grown women can't get it.
Okay.
Grown women like 40s, 50s, still in there yet and refuse to change. But is good at 10 years old, she recognized she get away if it don't grow back. You know what I mean?
It's like whatever.
She's still got life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pia, I don't want you to be late. You know, we got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing. I had a ball.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me too. The only thing missing was cocktails. I was just thinking on
right.
So when it gets warmer, we got to meet up and throw a few back.
I would love it.
I'll check you on a Clubhouse on Monday. If you have an iPhone, join Clubhouse. Check out Pia. Follow her here on IG sweet_dinks. Right? You can follow me as well. Readings_Simone.
Yeah.
Right. And and I'm wearing her sweatshirt. Wait.
Yes, check it out. Can you dig it?
Can you dig it? Yeah.
Look,
so
Simone's
go
wearing
on
my
her
sweatshirt.
site.
I'm not even wearing my own clothes today.
Go on her site and purchase her merch. Let's support Black businesses. Let's support Black women and just keep this woman empowerment pushing. Thank you so much, Pia. Go and continue to do your wonderful work, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.